Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Mushoku Tensei Season 2 Episode 15 reaction. So the previous episode was the wedding banquet and Rudy and Sylvie invited a lot of people. Not a lot, but the people that they are close to. For example, Ariel, and her group. Also like Padi Gadi, Zenoba, Julie, what was her name? Pursena. Ursena and that other girl, I always forget her name. So yeah, like every single person they kind of called, Cliff, Elena Lees, all of them. And a big information was revealed. That is, Elena Lees is actually Sylvie's grandmother. Yeah, grandmother. And turns out she doesn't like reveal her identity, or she didn't reveal her identity and kept herself away from her child and their grandchild as well, because of her situation, her curse. She's seen that other people treat her children and maybe their grandchildren in a bit different way because of her. So she didn't want to see that, so she keeps her distance from everyone. But seeing Sylvie getting married, she wasn't able to keep it to herself. She broke down crying, and like that whole thing. Also, Ariel tells Rudy to have a duel against what's his name? Luke. Luke? No. Yeah, Luke. That's his name, isn't it? Yeah. And Rudy just in a matter of seconds defeated her. And Ariel said oh, it's just a matter of pride. Also, she told Rudy to stop Sylvie if she tries to go back with them back to their kingdom, because in their kingdom, a lot of things are going on. She doesn't want Sylvie to live her happiness and her family to go along with them into the battlefield. So yeah, these type of things happened, and yeah, it was a good episode. So let's see what happens in today's episode. This is episode number 15. Let us begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it with whoever is a preference, and let's get started. Yeah, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Who's this? The postman? Yep. Letter, yeah. Who? His dad? Yep, there you go. She sent a letter about him getting married, didn't he? Yeah. Okay. Eastport. Hmm. Oh. Okay. This is some new characters we can see. Roxy. No, wait, no. No, Roxy was with them. Wait, who? Yeah. Well, Rudy knows Aisha properly. Because he met her while, she saved her and everything. Wait, oh, so he still doesn't know that he's married. Rudy probably sent the letter and still not gone there. Okay, it's either what's his name, Zoltat or Ruijat. Either of these two, I think. I don't know who is it. I don't think it was Zoltat. It might be Ruijat. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I thought that so Rudy said that he sent a letter to, Paul, talking about his marriage. I think he said that. But I think that still hasn't he still hasn't received that letter. Because if he received that letter, he definitely would have commented like, "Oh, you're getting married," like something like that. Right. Hmm. No selfie. Well, he got a letter from his family. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Sylvie remembers about them, don't she? Yeah, she remembers about Norn and Aisha. Ex neat. Eat with my honey. Uh, what's well? Oh, that one. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Can. Oh. Oh. Okay. Right. Hmm. Okay. Then. Yeah. Unlike certain isekai protagonists. Right. Okay. Bruh. Oh. Oh, because yeah, elves have problem in. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, this is 2 years. Oh, what? Yeah. In theory. Okay. Most weird things about this word. Hmm. Yeah, that's like conservation of energy. Okay. Oh no. Oh god. What? Wh- Um. What happened? Short circuit. Okay. Well, 2 years gone down the drain. I'm not gone down the drain. I'm sure she can, maybe modify it and change it. Okay, so. Hmm. Well, yeah, like after 2 years. Yeah, well, oh my god. Oh! Okay. Right. Ugh. No, I don't think she is. Yeah, she's been betting on this, I guess. But then again, like I said, like the, even if it failed, maybe they can modify. Oh my god, she's completely knocked out. Yeah. Yeah, like don't. Damn. Right. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I doubt she'll just start like like trapping herself in the room and doing her research. It's crazy. Like Nana, she's like a shut-in over here, unlike Rudy, how he was a shut-in in that world. Really shows how Rudy in this world is so different, and how his situation is so different than Nanahoshi. Whoa, what the? Oh my god. I don't know about that. Yeah. Mm. Well, yeah, exactly. It's crazy. I'll talk about this later. Like, since Rudy was able to redo everything, his situation got so better. Unlike Nana, she was just, oh my god, who was just brought in here, like teleported. Oh, she doesn't look okay. Oh god. Physically impossible. Yes. Hmm. Well, no, you know the theory, like the foundation. Yeah, maybe Eleanor. Can't be done. So, ah, interesting. Look, yeah, genius. Wow. Okay, calm down. Yeah, maybe we can use it in this. Yeah. Okay. Well, better than nothing, I guess. Right. Okay, show her the doll. Okay, well, are we like supposed to like throw light on it so it overlaps? Or oh no, never mind. It's just Okay, it does look, yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm a G. Right. Well, like up until now, she never asked for any help from anyone, but now, this might help her out. Taking other people's ideas and mixing it with hers. Power of socialization. Right. Damn. Yeah, this looks very complicated. Is it over? Okay. Okay, what are we teleporting or transporting from? Okay. Yes! A water bottle. Nice. Or a plastic bottle. It's a plastic bottle. Nope. This is something that your world probably doesn't have. Yeah. I wonder which unfortunate person's plastic bottle we just transported. It's probably drinking water and disappeared. Anything. Yeah, okay. Hmm. Hey, bodyguard is here. Why is it on the other? Oh, I guess he's probably too big to fit properly. The way he claps. Mm. Mm. Afar. Wait, this is a different ending song, isn't it? Or am I? Yeah. Am I making a mistake? This is a different ending song. Or did we even get an ending song? I don't remember. Previous episode, I think we got an ending song, didn't we? I've completely forgotten. Anyways, okay, that was a good episode. Is this Nanahoshi singing? Probably. That it seems like it. The voice. Hmm. Hmm. Is that it? Nope, there's still something left. Oh, Aisha and Norn. Okay, they're here. Wait, who brought them? And they said, like, Paul said that someone's coming with them? it's it's him. It's so. No, it's Richard. Okay, there you go. Nice. I was saying, like, there you go. I was saying, like, it's going to be either is all that or Richard. Yeah, it's Richard. I didn't recognize his voice at first because it's been a while I've heard him. Last we saw him was in season 1, I think. Yeah. Right. And now he's here. Okay, that was today's episode. Episode number 15. Yeah, 15. Okay, so today's episode was basically, like the whole thing with Nanahoshi, where she messes up in the magic circle and she, like completely gives up on everything. But then Rudy decides to take a look at the magic circle again, get his friends to help out with it, and like present a different way of going, like making the magic circle. And yeah, it worked. By the end of it, everyone collectively put their efforts into it, and yeah, they were able to bring something from the other world. Now, so the fact that, I guess, as Nanahoshi said, this is just the first step to the goal, that is going back, because now that she can bring stuff from the other world, like if she expands on this, maybe someday she will be able to make a magic circle which is able to transport human beings, and that's how she can transport herself, maybe, something like that. So as she said, this is just the first step to her goal. However, this was like the foundation, I guess you could say, and that is why when it didn't work, she like gave up. She was like, what the hell, like I've been trying on to do it for 2 years and it didn't work. And if the foundation doesn't, work, then there's no hopes of making the building. The foundation needs to stick first. If it doesn't, then there's no hopes for the building in itself. So now that the foundation has been properly set, she can expand on this and little by little make her building, that is, expand on the magic circle, and finally probably find out a way to transport live human beings from this world to the other world, or from that world to this world. Also, another thing we need to remember, we're transporting stuff from that world to this world. I guess maybe she can reverse engineer it and maybe do the opposite as well, but let's wait and see. Also, another thing Rudy said, that I hope this doesn't bring out another mana disaster just like the other time. However, she was like, no, it doesn't work like this. This takes, this makes use of the mass, the energy, what's it called? The law of conservation of energy. So the amount of energy, the mass, the object that we bring from the other world, it'll be compensated with the mana that we use here. So I think I'm going to read that section again to properly understand. So I guess that's why, unless and until you bring something crazy big or something, it probably won't really, affect us that much. Something like that, I think. Yeah. Okay. Also, like a few things I need to talk about in this episode. The thing which is like, how we see Rudy's situation here is just the complete opposite of his situation in his original world, while for Nanahoshi, it's like the complete opposite. Like Rudy was like the shut-in person in his in the original world, while Nanahoshi was probably this person who hung out with her friends and everything, went outside and all that stuff, while Rudy was just there shut in his room playing video games, just letting his life wither away. And here now, after they got transported isekai'd, Rudy now is living Nanahoshi's life. while Nanahoshi is living Rudy's life. As you can see, she's like shutting himself inside the room, like working on the magic circle. Doesn't really go out, doesn't really talk to anyone. Is like always like within herself. Even if she needs help, she probably doesn't ask anyone. Just just does it on her own. And yeah, and that obviously that affects her. Not only her, it'll affect anyone. If you're just alone doing things on your own, when you need help, if you're not able to ask for someone for help, yeah, that's stressful. So it's little by little, and not only that, the fact that her whole magic circle failed the first time that she did it, it broke her. She was like, what the hell was I doing, like, up until now? Like, it's not going to work now. So being unable to ask for help, and just struggling on her own up until now, shutting herself in, when it failed, she lost everything. And her, as Rudy says, like, she now looks like just how I was before when I gave up everything. So seeing where, or understanding where she's going to go if it goes on like this, because he himself has lived that life. He didn't want her to reach that situation, and that's why Rudy, like, brings everyone and tries to help her out here. So yeah, another big reason why, like, the situation is like this, or why Rudy is so comfortable here unlike Nanahoshi, is because of the difference in the way both of them, like, came to this world. Rudy came to this world as a child. He got isekai'd, and he didn't like got picked up from that world and transported to this world. He got picked up from that world, and he was born here. Like, he's an actual resident of this world. Even if we tell that, oh, Rudy is an isekai character, technically he was born here. If you think about it like that, even though his soul is from the other world and he remembers everything and all that, he was born here. He was, from the very young age. So the way he feels a part of being a part of this world, Nanahoshi is not able to feel that, because Nanahoshi's situation is like she was literally picked up and dropped here, just like that. And as far as I can remember, Nanahoshi's situation is a bit different as well, because Rudy was transported back in the past in this world, like, while Nanahoshi was transported here. And when she was transported here, Rudy was already, I think, like, how many years old? Like 15 or 16, I'm guessing. So Rudy lived in this world for 15 or 16 years before Nanahoshi was transported here, even though both of them died at the same time, as far as I remember. They both died at the same time, didn't they? Or maybe not, I'm not really sure. Because Rudy says that, all that Rudy remembers, and he saw, a few, people quarreling amongst each other, and Rudy went and saved the person and died like that. So one of the persons, the person he said was Nanahoshi, I'm guessing, like something like that. I don't remember that part. I need to go back and rewatch that part again, where that whole thing, is explained. And as far as I remember, the explanation goes, Rudy was transported here and he lived his whole life, like, for 15 or 16 years. And even though he and Nanahoshi were isekai at the same time, Nanahoshi came here way later, which is kind of very interesting. So yeah, Rudy, like, being the way he was, like, isekai'd, he feels way more part of this world than Nanahoshi, who was just picked up and dropped in here. And she was like the same age. She didn't, like, begin her life in here from the very beginning, unlike Rudy. So for Rudy, who decided to change his life for the better and redo his life and not repeat the same mistakes in his world, he has been like, giving effort to not try to repeat the same mistakes he has done in his original world. First of all, he started, like, his practice for magic from a very young age, which was able to make him so good at, like, incantations, and that's why the whole incantationless magic, that's number one. Number two, he made friends, I guess you could say. Sylphie was one of his friends, and and he talked to a lot of people, even though it wasn't that much, but still probably way more than he did back in his original world. In his original world, he was literally bullied. Like I doubt he had any friends. Everyone probably like bullied him and just. So here, however, he made friends. However small amount it was, he did make friends. And then Ares, like in all the others, and then after the whole mana disaster, he meets Rigid. All that stuff has happened, and he went through his whole socialization, and he made a place for him in this world. Like Nanahoshi, who was just talking to her friends, and then bam, she's suddenly here, and what to do now? That kind of thing. Another thing, Rudy has a mom, a dad, a family, unlike Nanahoshi, who's all alone. Before why don't I remember that guy's name? That dude, the one who oh my god, the one who almost killed Rudy. What's his name? I completely forgot his name. Anyways, like the only person who she kind of had contact with was him. Unlike Rudy, who actually had a family over here and people who he grew up with. So yeah, I guess you could say his emotional balance or his emotional stability here was way more than Nanahoshi, who just was brought over here. So just because of that one thing, Rudy's situation here is so much better, and that's why Rudy said that I don't want to go back. I feel like my life here is way better than I ever lived back there. So why would I go back? And that's why Rudy was like, okay, I will help you out with your thing. You can go back, but I'll stay here. You help me out with my thing. So yeah, the whole agreement. So yeah, all those things, if you think about it, yeah, Rudy's situation here is so much better, and Rudy knows where the direction Nanahoshi was going towards, completely isolating herself back, just like how he isolated himself. So he didn't want a repeat of that, and that is why he gave his best to help her out in this episode. And yeah, it worked, and this is it worked because she up until now probably didn't ask anyone else for help, but this time a lot of people were there. Rudy came up with the idea that, oh, why don't we not Rudy, sorry, Zenoba came up with the idea that why don't we overlap the magic circles, and Cliff was like, okay, let's see, and he was like, oh yeah, it might work. And as we see, when Nanahoshi was trying to realize that, oh, it might work, she was trying to do it, and Cliff was like, no, not like this, you have to do it like this. And she's like, oh, you're quite smart. And he's like, yeah, I'm a genius. So yeah, that is why you need help from people, especially in things like this, because when you're looking at something from one perspective, it helps when other people gives their opinion and their input, because they'll look at it from another perspective. Each person has their own way of looking at stuff, and changing the perspective sometimes helps a lot. When you're looking at it from one side all the time, the answer might not come out. But someone who's probably on the other side, when they look at it from that side, and they might find the answer way quicker than you. Yeah, so it helps to ask for help, I guess. Right. And there you go. In the end, they were able to do it, and yes, mission successful, I guess. And then in the end, we see Aisha and Norn over here, and Rigid is here as well. So yeah, there you go. I'm sure Rigid is the first thing Rigid is probably going to ask is where's Ares or something like that. And oh boy, I feel like Rudy's PTSD is going to get triggered again. But Sylphie's here with him now, so yeah. Yeah, let's see. Okay, that was today's episode. Like I said, really good episode. Rudy was able to help out Nanahoshi, and yeah, we are able to bring stuff out from the other one. Now here's another question I have. The PET bottle that we were able to bring, the plastic bottle, so so what happened? Did a bottle from our world get transported here? So I'm guessing a random bottle popped up over here. I don't know, maybe someone was drinking water or something, and the bottle suddenly disappeared. Is that what happened? Something like that? Okay, that'll be kind of interesting. I think that's what happened. Like, otherwise, what else could have happened? Like, how did a bottle suddenly pop up over here? Definitely something like that happened. So somewhere out there in the original world is probably missing a water bottle now, like a plastic bottle now. He's probably trying to look. He's like, where did I leave it? I cannot find it anywhere. Unknowingly, he doesn't know that it got isekai'd. Right, and this is the first time we're doing it, so it's like a plastic bottle. When we'll probably be able to bring out more complicated stuff, who knows? Maybe we'll be able to bring stuff here, which are like maybe like something like a mobile phone or something. That'd be crazy, you know. And okay, another thing I'm thinking about it. Wouldn't this like topple the balance of this one? Just imagine, like as Chris says, what is this? This isn't a glass. So obviously plastic doesn't exist here. Even if it exists, they haven't been able to find out the way to like make it. So plastic is a completely new thing in this world. The fact they brought it from another world, won't that like bring more trouble on their plate? Like if someone finds it and and someone like in the higher ups like get a hold of that, they'll be like, what the hell is this? Where did you get this from? And something like this doesn't exist in our world, and that'll like bring up more questions. And I feel like, and not only that, like I said, this is only a plastic bottle. What if we bring something like way more crazier, like I don't know, maybe like I said, like a mobile phone or something? So yeah, I feel like this is, I don't know, this might like be more troublesome in the long run, wouldn't it? Like then like the whole place, like the whole country, the whole kingdom will get involved, and like it'll become a way more bigger situation than it actually is, isn't it? So yeah, I don't know. You know what? Let's wait and see. This is barely the beginning. We'll see what happens. Right. Okay, and that is it. That was today's episode. Really good episode, and yeah, let's see. Now, let me talk about this episode scene by scene. In the very first episode section, we get to see Rudy gets a letter, and the letter is from Paul. So Paul has written in his letter that like we are trying to find Zenith, and like we have been able to track her down. So they'll probably go to like rescue her or something. Since they will be doing that, they don't find it safe for Norn and what's her name, Aisha, to be with them, like to go with them. But obviously, like it makes sense, they're little kids. So Paul is like, I've sent them to you, and I've sent a person who you guys are quite familiar with to go with them. So yeah, now and immediately I was like, oh, it's either Zoldat or Richard, and I was like, it probably isn't Zoldat because we just saw Zoldat, like I think just in the previous season. I doubt he's going to come back anytime soon. Even if he comes back, it'll probably be later. So it's probably going to be Richard, and yeah, it was Richard. So because otherwise, I don't see anyone else like being like, who else does Rudy know other than like who Paul doesn't know? Like yeah, like Richard, the only person I could think of, and Zoldat, like I said. But I was like, no, Zoldat probably isn't the one. So yeah, that's his name, isn't it? Zoldat, or am I like, or am I just completely mistaken his name? That dude, the one who was pretty like nasty to Rudy at the very beginning. His name was Zoldat, wasn't it? Yeah, Zoldat. There you go. Okay, so Rudy gets that letter, and next we get to see Rudy has went back home, and he is like, oh, Sylphie's like, oh, you look happy, and Rudy's like, oh, you know what? I got a letter today from Paul, and he said that he's sending my sisters here. Will it be okay if they stay here? And Sylphie's like, yeah, sure. Like it's a big house. Like it'll be nice. We'll get more people here. It'll be more exciting. And Rudy's like, oh, like in the future, hopefully, like like I can bring Paul and Mom over here as well after we save Mom. And he's like, oh, an ex-NEET is talking about providing for his parents. Like how crazy. Right. And then they like have dinner and everything. And here Rudy's like, is there anything that you want, Sylvie? And Sylvie's like, oh, why don't you teach me that magic that you used on me, which is disturb magic? Rudy's like, okay. And Sylvie's like, and I will teach you healing magic. So both of them tries to teach each other the magic. For Rudy, for Rudy it doesn't work, I guess, because Sylvie says, I don't think incantationless healing works differently for other spells. But Rudy's like, yeah, but it's not working. So maybe you don't understand how the person on the receiving end feels. Okay. She's right. I don't get the feeling of having magic used on me. I can feel attack spells like the flow of my own blood. But, right. So that's why. I love how Sylvie's like, oh, I'm relieved. It's not that you can do everything. And I'm like, yeah, thank God. Otherwise, this was going to be just one of those isekais, but the main character can literally do everything. Right. But yeah, I feel like that's what makes this so much more, I guess you could say, more organic, or more raw, the feeling, like, because at the very beginning it did seem like Rudy was going to be one of those characters who's like a genius, or like who has everything, when we got to see that he can do incantation as magic, and then it was revealed that everyone could do it if they want to. It's just that everyone's circumstances, like, due to the circumstances, they haven't really practiced that much. So the fact that Rudy taught Sylvie incantationless magic from a very young age, and Sylvie's able to do it, proves that it's not that this thing is special to Rudy or anything. Anyone can do it if they tried. So yeah, this is not some kind of a cheat ability or anything. This is just pure effort, and it's not some kind of like not some kind of crap like, oh, like, since I'm from a different world, I'm special kind of thing. No, he just studied from a very young age, and that's why he's able to do all of these things. Only one thing I would say that worked on his favor, because he's an isekai character, is that he kept his memories and his his I guess you could say his consciousness. So he was able to practice from a very young age. At that age, kids only think about running around and doing mischief, at that very young age. However, Rudy was thinking about doing magic spells and reading books and stuff from that young age, if you remember. So that is the only thing that was different for him. Other than that, everything is same for Rudy. He's just a normal person here, like, yeah. So, like I said, that makes this feel way more organic, I would say, and it way more like, I don't know, like the achievements that Rudy is going to bring from here onwards, or that he has brought up until now, it feels way more authentic. It's not as if like he did this using his cheat abilities. No, he genuinely did it himself. He's not a special, like, or privileged or anything like that. He's just a normal dude here. Something like that, I guess. I don't know. Either way, next we get to see Rudy trying to teach Sylvie disturb magic, and when she was trying to concentrate, Rudy's like, oh, I wonder if our kids will have, like, our mana, or the magic, like, we'll be able to do magic as well. And Sylvie gets a little bit flustered. Okay, so that's that. And then the next scene, we get to see Rudy talks to Nanahoshi, and Nanahoshi has brought out her magic circle, and she's like, yeah, this will work. If this works, we'll be able to bring stuff from the other world. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to read this section because Nanahoshi gives like the theory behind it. When Rudy asks, like, oh, hopefully this doesn't become a mana disaster situation. Okay, where is that one? This won't cause another mass teleportation, will it? It's safe in theory. And he's like, can I hear the theory? Okay, so she explains, our experiments thus far have shown that summoning larger and more complex objects requires greater mana. Meaning the law of conservation of energy applies to this was magical. And Rudy wasn't getting through his head, so she changes her way of speaking. obviously I can understand what she's saying. Basically she's saying like law of conservation of energy, the amount of thing we bring from the other world will probably be compensated by the mana usage. So like if something big is brought, that amount of equivalent mana will probably be used up. So it keeps the law of conservation of mass and energy the same. Nothing can be created nor destroyed. It just um, it just transforms from one state to another. That kind of thing. So at which she's like, okay, let me like explain it more easily to you. Basically, mana explains most weird things about this world. Yeah. And he's like, okay, I see. So when I make rocks in midair with earth magic, in converting the nearby mana into stone. There you go. So yeah, it's not like the magic that he's doing, the earth magic that he's doing. The rocks are popping up from out of nowhere. It's not that. He's converting the mana, the equivalent amount of mana, into that rock. So there's no like creation or destruction of energy. It stays the same. It's just that the mana energy is getting converted into that rock. So that kind of thing. Okay, there you go. So they begin their spell, and it doesn't work. Rudy puts in the magic, and it kind of bursts a little bit, cracks a little bit, and that's it. And Nanahoshi is like, it failed. And Rudy sees Nanahoshi, and you can see Nanahoshi is taking this quite hardly, and she's like, right, so yeah, it's over. You can leave. And she's just sitting down, and Rudy's like, oh, I don't like this, because she looks so exhausted, and her eyes are kind of vacant and blank as well. But still Rudy's like, okay, like I'll see you later. So yeah, Rudy goes back, or was going back. And he's thinking like, this failure might be hitting her pretty hard. No, Nanahoshi is a lot tougher than she looks. And as soon as he says that, he hears screaming. He goes inside the room and sees that Nanahoshi is screaming. She's tearing out the books, toppling all the shelves and everything, and just freaking out. And Rudy goes and like restrains her, and then he sees that her eyes are like vacant. It's like completely clouded over, and Rudy's like, oh no, I cannot let her stay like this. So yeah, and then Nanahoshi completely loses consciousness as well. Rudy starts carrying her, and Zanoba's like, what's happened? And he's like, can you please help me out? And Zanoba's like, okay, let me carry her. And he starts carrying her, takes her to the infirmary, and and Julie also is like, oh, like Grandmaster, you also look very like different, like very tired. And Rudy's like, oh really? And he realizes then that, oh, like it's also affecting me, because you literally seeing someone else go through something that you yourself went through and struggled with. So it's a type of feeling that I don't think unless and until you went through that, you will be able to realize it. Like just imagining like or seeing someone going through something that you yourself struggle with must be a pretty damn like tough thing to do, because seeing them go through that probably like triggers your own like experiences in your head as well, and you start probably like going through them and struggling with them as well along with them. Like I said, unless and until you are in that situation, you probably won't be able to understand or explain it, but I can at least understand what Rudy felt like at that point, like seeing someone go through the same thing that he went through and struggled with in his world. And obviously Rudy doesn't want her to go through that, because he is someone who knows the best what it feels like being in that place. So Rudy's like, I think we should take her to our home. We cannot let her alone over here in case she like does something. So Zanova carries her, and Rudy is going back, and then Julie asks Rudy like Julie was like walking, and Rudy like carries Julie, and Rudy's like, oh, is Zanova takes good care of you? And she's like, yeah, master gives me food to eat, good food to eat. Right. And Rudy thinks that, oh, I don't know, I feel like Nanhosh is probably not eating, like looking at her and everything. Yeah. And then like they go back home, and Sylvie saw um like what's happening, and she takes care of the situation, like does I'm guessing she probably tried to heal Nanahoshi and all that. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention. They kind of talked about it. I'm going back a little bit. I forgot to mention that Sylvie mentioned how it might be troublesome for her to have kids because she's an elf. Now, I think I remember it was this show, wasn't it, where they explained how since they are elves and like long living creatures, which show was it? Was it this show or was it some other show where they explained since they're long. Oh no, it was Freeren. Never mind. Oh, never mind. I was going to say something else. Like, in Freeren, how they explained since they're elves and they're long living creatures, they have completely lost the urge to like carry on their generation and reproduce. And that's why, like, they don't do it. And the whole elf race is going extinct or something. Like I think I remember her saying that. I mixed that up with this. I was like, I feel like I've heard that before somewhere. I didn't remember which show it was. Now I remember. It was Freeren, not this show. But I guess it's probably something similar here as well. Because they're elves, they're long living creatures. I guess that's why their, like, their reproduction capabilities are way lesser compared to humans who are way, like, smaller. Because, that's the thing. The way smaller a species' like lifespan is, the way more way like the way more like procedures, or the way they like reproduce, or the amount they reproduce is increases in that sense. Like for example, like cats and dogs, they have very smaller lifespan compared to human beings. That is why whenever they give birth, they usually give birth to a litter of kittens or like puppies. A lot of them, for the survivability factor, a lot of them dies, and by the end of it, like one or two stays alive, and like, and they like reproduce a lot. So that is why, since their lifespan is smaller, they have to do that to continue the generation. And similar to that, I feel like elves, since they are such long living creatures, their, I guess that is why their reproduction capabilities are maybe less than humans, since they don't need to reproduce that much because they themselves live for so long. I don't know, that's just something I think would make sense logically, and maybe that's why. But yeah, I forgot to mention that completely. I kind of like yeah, that's why I brought that up. And Sylvie said something like, oh, you can take concubines if you want. And Rudy's like, no, I don't, like obviously, since it's with someone I love, that is only why, like I would want kids, not just because I want kids, but because I want kids with someone I love. So it defeats the purpose, of the whole thing. So yeah, anyways, I brought that up because I feel like that was important. I forgot to mention that completely. Anyways, now back here. Rudy, okay, so Zanoba's like, are you okay, master? Like master. And Rudy's like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, why? Zanoba's like, no, because your face seems weird. You look exactly like Nanahoshi. And Rudy's like, oh, it's just because I something got triggered in me. I was just like Nanahoshi back once. I went through the same things, and it kind of triggered that in me. So yeah. And anyways, and then like next day you can see Rudy tries to cheer up Nanahoshi, and he talks about like potato chips and everything, but Nanahoshi is just completely like her eyes are sunken, clouded over. She's just looking outside, and she's like, I cannot go back home. And Rudy's like, no, this way it won't work. So he goes out and asks for help from Zanoba and everyone else. And they're like, okay, like let's see the magic circle. So they see the magic circle. Cliff, as he says, he's a genius. He tries to figure it out, but he's not figuring anything out. Zanoba comes up with an idea. Zanoba's like, why don't we use like a double layer or something, and he says like, the doll that I'm working on, it has something like that, so maybe, so that gave me this idea. At which Cliff is like, oh, show me the doll. And he sees the doll, and he's like, okay, this might work. And he tries to figure it out at first, but he's not getting it in his head, but then he's like, Rudy's like, okay, let's try this then. So They bring all the magic circles together, brings it in front of Nanahoshi. Nanahoshi at first was obviously very like, like her eyes were very like vacant and everything, but when she looks at all of them at the same time, she's like, oh yeah, this might work. And she immediately goes off and starts scribbling on the pages. And god damn, these mosquitoes freaking yeah. So yeah, she starts scribbling, and Cliff is like, oh no, not like this, you should do it like this. And yeah, so they continue like that. They go through day and night, going through the magic circle, and finally they are able to make one magic circle. Not one, but multiple, and they just layer it one on top of the other. And then Rudy puts on his magic into it, and bam, we were able to bring in a plastic bottle, an isekai bottle. Right. and like I said, Cliff is like, what is this? This isn't glass. It looks too soft for that. This is what I'm saying. Like I said, wouldn't this like open a whole Pandora's box? Like, we're literally bringing stuff from another world. Some of them might have materials which probably doesn't even exist in this world currently. It might exist, but people still probably haven't discovered it. So wouldn't this become like a huge thing if some like higher up sees this, and they'll be like, what is this? So I don't know if this will have like huge implications, or maybe they'll keep this all a secret amongst themselves. You know what, maybe that's what they're going to do. Either way, like I feel like if this goes out and like the higher ups like see this, it might become a big deal. You know what, let's wait and see how this goes. Either way, Nanahoshi is very happy, and she's like, yes, like we finally did it. Now obviously this is the first step. She will have to expand on this, but still, like, even if it's one step, it's still a step in the correct direction. Like I said, she made the foundation. Now we have to expand on this. And Nanahoshi's like, oh, thank you guys for your help. She's like embarrassed to admit it and everything. And Rudy's like, yeah, I helped you out. Now when I need you, you'll have to help me. And she's like, yeah, sure, why not? And then they go through like everyone's like, oh, let's go, like let's do a party. And they like bring foods and drinks, and everyone's like eating, drinking, having fun. And yeah, there you go. That's where it ends. Oh no, then we have the after credit scene where we see Aisha and Non outside Rudy's house, and Aisha's like Non, like like you brought her, like you it's because of you we got so late. You lost your way. And Non is like, oh, you said that it was the right way, and like kind of quarreling amongst each other. And when Rudy comes in, Aisha's like, oh, like big brother, and comes and like hugs him. Obviously Non is still like very cautious because the whole thing that happened, like she saw him beating up Paul, and became afraid of him and all that. But obviously Aisha's situation is way different. Like Aisha saw him, like Aisha's introduction to Rudy was Rudy literally saving her and her mother, while Non's first introduction to Rudy was Rudy beating up her dad, her dad. So yeah, it's way different, I guess. That's why the way they reacted was so different. Yeah. Anyways, oh, and then Ruijat comes out, and Ruijat's like, oh, long time no see, and that is where it ended. So yeah, good episode. Yeah, let's see what happens now, and how this goes. So that is it. That was my reaction to episode number 50 of Mushoku Tensei season 2. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. That is it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week with another episode of Mushoku Tensei. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.